Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and today I wanted to ask the question, is Diablo 4 in trouble? And no, of course it isn't. The game has just come out. It's still doing very well. It was immensely popular among casual players and more hardcore players alike. There's a lot of reasons to be excited about the future of the game. I do firmly believe that Season 1 is going to be a massive game changer for it as well. But there are some pain points among the community and the divide forming that I kind of wanted to address, because it does seem like there's a lot of players who are new to ARPGs or new to the Diablo franchise with this game that might not have fully expected what endgame was going to look like or what the seasonal model was going to be for Diablo. So if you are unfamiliar, ARPGs typically act like Diablo, where when a new season drops, you make a new character, they experience all the seasonal content. The differences with Diablo 4 compared to past Diablos is that we have a battle pass that is directly linked to a seasonal character. So a lot of folks who are not yet level 100, do not have max gear in the game as of now, we're hoping that they would be able to continue to progress with those characters and still get progress on the battle pass as well, which I kind of get. I do understand that. However, I never expected it myself. I made a whole video on it and why I think it can be frustrating for some people who aren't expecting it, but it was to be expected for those folks who have been playing ARPGs and Diablo for the past however many years. Now, that's not the only real pain point, though. I know a lot of people now looking forward, knowing that that is the case, are not really interested in progressing their main characters any further because they know the progress is going to be all for naught. They're going to have to regrind a character, and they would rather grind a character that all the way from 1 to 100 that is going to make progress on the battle pass as well. That's also going to get to experience the seasonal adjustments that we're going to get, and hopefully we get a more diverse meta. There's not just one or two builds that are creatable as well, that are really dominant on each class. So I do understand that to a degree. I think a lot of people have slowed down. They hit the game really hard. This is a problem with grindy games like Diablo. People will jump in feet first and play the game for hours and hours and hours when it first launches, and maybe not realize that the end game is not super diverse or challenging in a game like Diablo. So essentially how it works is you have your nightmare dungeons are going to be your primary focus after you hit a certain level. They're going to get escalating difficulty as you increase what level of the nightmare dungeon you're doing, but they're still all going to feel like the same dungeons that you're running. So it's not going to be that varied with that. We do have Hell Tides, which are new to Diablo 4, which I very much enjoy. We have world bosses as well. So there are some different options for you to keep making progress, but because gear works like you have your base gear and then you have your sacred gear and then ancestral gear, you're going to replace all of your gear by the time you hit ancestral anyway. So there's really no use in keeping most of it at the lower levels. You're just basically using it to get aspects and all that kind of good stuff. So because of that, I think a lot of people are kind of believing that there's no reason to grind up and get perfect ancestral geared characters on their accounts right now that'll be in the Eternal Realm, when they're just going to have to make a brand new character on the Seasonal Realm. And it's not like you'll be able to transfer your gear from the Eternal Realm to the Seasonal Realm, so it's kind of defeats the purpose for a lot of folks. And I fully understand that, especially if you don't have the time, energy, and effort to commit to 10s, 20 hours a week to this game that's going to be very grindy, and you're going to be playing a lot of the same content. It's not like there's going to be new end game once the season does drop. So because of that, I think you really need to pace yourself with the different content and understand that maybe you're not going to want to grind nightmare dungeons with your base eternal character right now and then regrind them all once again when you get to a seasonal character in just a month's time, because we know that season 1 is launching in July at some point. So within the next month, we are going to have season 1 launching. So I hope that season 1 launches in the middle of July, and there's only a couple weeks before that, because I do feel like we're gonna have a lull. And the problem is, with so many games coming out in the near future that are going to be potentially very good. I am playing Final Fantasy 16 quite a bit. I'm really enjoying that game. I think there is the potential for players to leave Diablo 4 and then not return because they get distracted by a bunch of other things. And so that's one of the concerns that I do have. We are in kind of a lull period for a lot of folks. I am still playing the game in between when I play Final Fantasy 16. I'm still trying to level up my character, but also I just want to experience different builds. I want to kind of chase some gear, and I do very much still enjoy the game. I just know that there's going to be some sentiment of frustration as folks wait for Season 1 to launch. They're just kind of in a holding pattern. And I don't know how Diablo could have fixed this. I don't know, like, holding off and not announcing that seasonal characters were going to be the only way to progress the battle pass would have probably caused more problems than good, to be honest. The other issues that I've seen people bring up is there's a couple, 6 of them actually, these unique items that are ultra rare. Only a handful of folks have found them, and people are like, "Oh well, you can't." I will say it's frustrating you can't target farm. There's not a place where you can go where you're going to have a better drop. They seem to drop anywhere that can drop ancestral items once you hit level 85. But I don't mind having these ultra rare items that just so happen to drop. It will be a special feeling when you get them to drop. I remember in Destiny 1 getting a drop from a raid that was a exotic that you didn't have that was ultra rare. Felt so immensely satisfying. Now, you don't have a targeted place to do that in Diablo 4 with these unique items, but I do like having pretty rare items to chase that are going to be kind of less common. Yes, it's RNG dependent, but ultimately, I'm sure there's going to be changes in the future. We're going to have seasons or expansions that are going to introduce new gear as well. So they're probably going to increase the drop rates of those, the uniques at that point, and then have new uniques replace them over the course of time. And I think that's fine. I think that is going to allow them to feel special, and it's not something that I would be too terribly worried about. None of them are absolutely going to break your account or be that strong that they're going to dominate the meta, even though they are that rare. So I'm not too terribly worried about it, even though people are going to be frustrated by it. There's some other pain points as well. Again, the metas aren't super diverse right now. There's only a few that are viable on each class. I know there's some ways to work around them once you get the max level, but it's one of those things that I do hope with the first season we get a lot more viable options that can be used in the end game and are really fun to use as well. Because some of them just don't feel all that great, and I want that to change across all the different classes. I don't want to just see highlights from the same looking class every single time, personally. Now, there's a couple, like I said, there's a couple other pain points as well. I do think the hot fixes have been pretty frequently, but with all the different hot fixes, we have seen some stability issues. There was a DDoS attack recently that Diablo Blizzard, they can't really help that, but hopefully they get that resolved and they don't have that issue in the future. Other than that, I hope everyone takes a step back, understands that the game is going to evolve over time. What the game is now is not what the game is going to be a year from now, and if you are enjoying yourself with the game, keep playing, keep grinding, do all that kind of stuff. If you're not, take a break. It's fine. Come back for Season 1. Wait for Season 2, whatever the case may be. Either way, I hope you're enjoying Diablo 4. My name is JoPa. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel. Helps me out tremendously. Shows you want to see more Diablo 4 content from me. I hope you have a good one. I'll catch you all later.